Good afternoon, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing fine. Welcome, everyone. Welcome aboard. I hope you're enjoying the boring Premier League football today, isn't it? It's boring without Man United. It really is, guys. We got Leeds against Aston Villa. It's going on, relatively good game. The big game is coming later on, apparently. We're watching Arsenal against Tottenham Hotspur is happening. But you know what? I mean, I can't see. Can you see Tottenham getting anything from that game? I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but Tottenham will be Tottenham. Spursy will be Spursy. That's what Spurs do, isn't it, guys? Before I start, guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video. All that generous stuff be absolutely fantastic, guys. Really appreciate everyone who's joined me today. Of course, guys, let's get into some Manchester United news now. Over the next few weeks and over the past few weeks, Manchester United have been linked to the same players. The same players. It's been sort of like a roundabout of players that we've been mentioning. It's like the same players keep popping up. One of those players is Joffrey Mokio. Joffrey Mokio is an Ajax, 17-year-old Ajax CDM. Now, obviously, he could play left back as well. Very versatile, very sought-after player. Currently playing for Ajax. You know, Ajax have gone a little bit quiet in regards to the pool of talent that they used to produce, because Ajax used to produce some of the best players in the world. But Joffrey Mokio goes against that narrative. He's only 17, CDM, CM, and left back, only valued at 8 million euros. Now, guys, it's funny I mentioned this one because I've been mentioning his name for the last, 4 months. And there is some wheels on this one. Man United are incredibly interested in Joffrey Mokio, as are other clubs as well. Incredibly talented player for his age, only 17 years old. But would this represent a risk? Would this transfer be like, well, too young, too soon, etc.? We'll have to wait and see. But Man United are very interested in him. His price tag is extremely competitive, only 8 million euros. So, you know what? Why not? I mean, why don't we do the deal in January? Of course, I believe Ajax are in Europe, so that might be a little bit difficult. Another one of this roundabout is Said Al-Mala. Now, Said Al-Mala is a player that is going to be a generational for me. He's 19 years old, left wing, right wing, attacking midfielder, can play across that line and would benefit Ruben Amorim immensely, especially the way that we play, especially the fact that we need wingers, we need right wingers, left wingers, attacking midfielders, and he could slot into any one of those positions. So I think this is very exciting when you have a player like that who's that versatile. Of course, he's currently playing for Köln, got 5 caps for the Germany under-21, only valued at 15 million again, guys. So what Manchester United need to do, because he's currently playing for Köln, FC Köln in Germany, what Manchester United need to do is what Man United need to do is they need to get these transfers sorted out. They need to get these transfers, kind of pre-agreed. Because, we're going to lose out on a lot of these players unless we do some kind of pre-agreement with a lot of these players. And we were talking about Anderson earlier on now. Looking at Anderson, the way that Anderson is playing, the way that Anderson has been going about his things over this last few months, I mean, Anderson is the guy that Man United need now, isn't it? You're looking at it thinking, this guy's a new Roy Keane. Anderson coming from Nottingham Forest, Roy Keane coming from Nottingham Forest. Anderson will be a generational signing for Man United. I think it'll be an absolute game-changing signing for Manchester United. And I like the fact that we're linked to Said Al-Mala. I like the fact that we're linked to Joffrey Mokio. But the thing is, this Anderson deal needs to happen, guys. It really does need to happen because this guy is an absolute brilliant player. And we've been mentioning him for a long time now. And obviously, it wasn't deemed a fashionable signing. This is the thing. Like, people look at players and they think, oh, this is not fashionable enough. He's not a superstar. He's playing for Forest, etc., etc. But what we have to do, we have to think about things objectively and be fair in regards to this, is that Anderson is playing for Nottingham Forest. Imagine he was playing for Manchester United. Imagine he was playing in that midfield for Manchester United. I mean, I'm pretty certain that he would do very, very well. However, it's going to be very, very difficult for Manchester United to do a deal for Anderson in January. If Man United are going to do any deal, it's going to be in the summer. Obviously, Nottingham Forest have got their own problems. They've got the relegation thing going on, and they've got the European football going on. But Man United can agree something. And this is what I think we should do. I think Man United need to agree something in principle. I think we need to get some kind of agreement going on there. Of course, guys, absolutely. Now, we're looking at Baleba. Baleba's been hooked again yesterday, not playing well. Look, when I look at players around the Premier League at the moment, I don't look at Baleba at the moment. I look at Adam Wharton. I look at Anderson, of course, as well. I don't look at Baleba anymore. I just think these two players, Anderson and Wharton, are the two players that Man United need to break the bank to get, especially Anderson at this moment. I feel like Man United need to break that bank. They need to get this player through the door because he's an absolutely generational player, in my opinion, and he would mark a brilliant signing for Manchester United, in my opinion, and he would change Man United's fortunes absolutely. Third one on that list, of course, is João Gomes. João Gomes, apparently Manchester United have held initial talks about the signature of João Gomes. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get João Gomes. Wolverhampton Wanderers do not want to sell. Obviously, they've got their relegation problems as well. And if they sell João Gomes, it's a bit like the nail in the coffin, isn't it? When you sell your players that you need, like players like Anderson, players like João Gomes, it's basically resignation, isn't it? It's resigning from the fact that you're going to get relegated and you're saying to yourself, well, let's make a bit of money before we go down. And that's what it is. So it does make these deals a little bit more difficult, and it does make it a little bit more pricey as well. João Gomes wants to go to Manchester United. He's desperate to go to Manchester United, but it does all depend on Manchester United themselves, and it does depend on Wolves. João Gomes will be easier deal to do, other than all the players that I've mentioned. It will be an easier deal to do, considering that his price tag and he wants to go to Man United. He's already in the Premier League at the moment. He's at a certain age now. What is he, 24? He's at that age where he thinks like, you know what, this is my opportunity to go to Manchester United. Other teams around Europe are sniffing around. They are interested in João Gomes. I think Man United need to get the move on in regards to that. If we don't get João Gomes, there are other options. Of course, Ruben Neves is another one that could possibly come in January. Conor Gallagher, that one who can possibly come in January. And then after that, it's going to get a little bit more difficult to acquire these players, because obviously you're going into the realms of teams that don't need to sell, teams that don't want to sell, teams that in Europe, etc. So Man United do need to try and get some players in January, whether it is a João Gomes, whether it is a Ruben Neves. Of course, we need to get at least a couple of players in there just to cover the void that's going to be left from the AFCON as well, not least that. Our squad is very threadbare. It's very weak, in my opinion. After our first team, it does go down a little bit, guys. It really does. And, I would really like us to improve this squad and give Ruben Amorim the best opportunity possible to succeed at Manchester United. Because at the end of the day, it's what I said at the beginning of the season. I said, I want Ruben Amorim to have the best opportunity possible to succeed. That's what I want. And by bringing in players, we should have bought in these players in the summer. Let's be real, guys. We should have bought in these players in the summer. If we bought these players in the summer, we wouldn't be talking right now, because we already have the squad. We already have the players there right now. Of course, we got players out on loan, i.e. Collier, etc. We got players that are injured. It is getting a little bit treacherous. We're treading on dodgy ground, of course, guys. Let me just say good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone in the stream, guys. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me on Stretford Post. Big up All Bars One. How you doing, you legend? Thank you so much, my friend. Good to see you. Big up Danny B. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, my guy. Big up Marky Mark, the legend. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Big up the community. Howie man, very well. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. How you feeling, my guy? Excited for the match tomorrow and for us to go on a run. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, my friend. Yes, look, guys, Man United could quite possibly go on a 10-game unbeaten run. When I'm looking at the fixtures, guys, I'm thinking we can quite possibly go 10 games without defeat. It is, it's a very, very real possibility here, guys. Man United going 10 games without defeat. Imagine that happen. Big up Sanjay. Big up Marky Marty, legend. Big up yourself. Big up Sanjay. Hope you're doing well. Big up Ellen. What's going on? I hope you're doing well. The weekend has to be close to, it's been almost close to perfect, what I would say. Absolutely. But it does all depend on Manchester United, isn't it, Ellen? And Tottenham Hotspur today. Hopefully Tottenham could do something, right? Hopefully Tottenham could do something. You never know. Thomas Frank is astute with his tactics. However, there is the Spursy thing that goes on, isn't it? Spurs are very Spursy. Man United, aside from all that, what Man United need to do, Man United need to just concentrate on themselves and getting a result for themselves. We can't control what happens elsewhere. All we can do is just control what our results are, because if we don't control our results and then obviously the results go our way, it doesn't really matter. One of the big characteristics about Manchester United over the last few years is that every time we've been granted with an opportunity, we generally don't take that opportunity. And that is the biggest disappointment for me. And when we got a chance to move up that league, we're not taking the opportunity. And I think that is the problem, I think. And tomorrow, hopefully, we do that, of course. Hey, Nicky, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Nick. Hope you're doing good, my friend. Hope you're blessed. Good to see you. Big up RJ. Peace and blessings, everyone. Good to see you, RJ. Danny, I like him, but personally, I prefer Bawadi. Bawadi's a fantastic player, my friend. Bawadi is going to be wanted by loads of clubs around Europe. He's a very, very good player. Currently playing for Lille, I believe. And look, what we have to do in regards to Bawardi and that, and Man United are aware of Bawardi. Man United know all about Bawardi, of course, but so does his football club. They know about Bawardi. They know that a lot of teams are going to go after Bawardi. So his price tag might be a little bit extortionate. Currently playing in France at the moment. So, what I would do is that I would say that, yeah, look, he will be a fantastic signing for Manchester United. But I do believe Man United should fight tooth and nail first to get Anderson. If they get Anderson, I wouldn't mind a player like Bawardi. Do you know that? I wouldn't mind having Anderson and Bawardi in that midfield. It wouldn't be bad, would it? It'd be a good balance right there. But Anderson should be the most priority for Man United. Man United should be concentrating right now on getting Anderson through the door, get him through the door first, get an agreement going in January, and then we can sort of complete the deal in the summer. And then obviously bring in a Bawardi. I mean, maybe we can bring in Bawardi in January. You never know. But Bawardi is a very, very good player. Another generational player coming from France, of course, already been touted as a French international already. Very, very, very good player, of course. Absolutely. Danny B, big up yourself. RJ, Sal, our rivals are losing around us. Our rivals are losing their mind. I mean, a lot of our rivals are, absolutely, vying for Manchester United to lose the game tomorrow. They're dying for Man United to lose the game tomorrow. I've seen a lot of the reactions, guys. There's been some crazy reactions from Liverpool fans, but that's Liverpool fans for you, isn't it, at the end of the day? God forbid I become one of those guys just screaming in front of a camera and just becoming a viral meme. God forbid that, guys, because I won't become that. Absolutely, guys. Some of us have a little bit of class, but at the end of the day, look, that's Man United. We're a bit more classy, aren't we, guys? But yeah, look, at the end of the day, look, our rivals are losing around us, but it means absolutely nothing if we don't capitalize on it tomorrow. If we don't go to that Everton game tomorrow and we don't capitalize on the game tomorrow, it just means nothing, doesn't it? Because at the end of the day, we can talk about it till the cows come home. It doesn't really matter unless we do the business ourselves. Efren, good evening. How you doing, my friend? Hope we're doing well. One game left and we need Arsenal to drop points. I want a competitive title change. Now, at the end of the day, we can't control what happens with the Arsenal game today. Tottenham will be Tottenham. Tottenham notoriously don't have a good record against Arsenal. We have to remember that. Obviously, I do rate Thomas Frank. I think Thomas Frank is a very good manager. Hopefully, he can set out Tottenham tactically to nullify to Arsenal and to stifle Arsenal in regards to playing their game. That would be absolutely fantastic. But I wouldn't put my eggs in one basket in regards to that, because at the end of the day, Spurs will be Spursy. You know what Spurs are like when they play Arsenal. They get, they get blinded by the light sort of thing. So hopefully they do change the narrative. Hopefully it isn't predictable, and hopefully Spurs go out there and actually make a game of it. Absolutely. Mark, big up, my friend. Time to knock Liverpool off their perch. They've never been on their perch, mate. They haven't reached back their perch. At the end of the day, look, they've leveled the Premier League, not the Premier League, but the league title tally with us. Obviously, they only have 2 Premier League titles, don't they? So they really can't measure up to us. We've got 13. So they can't measure up to us in modern day football, of course, guys. They can't really talk about that and stuff like that. But yeah, it'd be absolutely fantastic if we can get ahead of Liverpool in this league and get into the Champions League. Liverpool, are in a very, very critical part of their history right now, and they don't know it. They don't know it themselves. Probably their fans don't know it, but they're in a very critical stage in their development, in their history. Because if they do not get into the Champions League, having spent $500 million on that team, they're going to have to sack Arne Slot. He's going to cost a little bit of money to sack as well. They are going to be in enormous problems, guys. Listen, you know what? The Champions League is a great blessing. Every time you qualify for the Champions League, you get that 100 million, don't you? You get that 100 million in the kitty, and that's what Liverpool have been having over this last couple of years. But if that is taken away from them and given to Manchester United, the tables will turn, guys. The tables will turn, and we won't be splashing money out like Liverpool. What Liverpool have done is exactly what you don't do. What they've done is exactly what you don't do in Premier League football, is that you overspend on players that are unproven, number one. Look, Isaac has always been a great striker, but Isaac's attitude has always been called into question. I mean, obviously, he went on strike at Newcastle and stuff like that. But when you're looking at Florian Wirtz and you're looking at the price of Florian Wirtz, which was 150 million, I mean, come on, in what mind and in what world would you pay 150 million for Florian Wirtz, who's never played in the Premier League, playing in the Bundesliga, which is completely different? Florian Wirtz is probably the quality of a normal player. He's probably, not even as good as Rodgers, guys at Aston Villa. He's probably not even as good as that player. Do you know what I mean? And when you're purchasing players like Florian Wirtz, it does represent a huge risk. And you know what? I'm not going to have any sympathy for them. They've never had sympathy for us. So I'm not going to have any sympathy for them. And I do wish them bad. I do wish them bad luck. I do. I'm sorry. I do. And ever since I've burst onto the scene, in particular on other channels and stuff like that, Liverpool haven't done too well. So maybe I'm their little bit of juju there, guys. So there you go. Dave, big up, Dave. What's going on? I speak for all United, so when I say I fully support to Liverpool so that they can never walk alone to support FFG and slot in for many, many years, David. As we said this morning, Dave, the work that Arne Slot has done, spending $500 million on his team is absolutely phenomenal. I don't know how they do it, Dave. I really don't. I don't know how they do it. Absolutely congratulations to Liverpool on their fantastic work in the transfer market and this season so far. I personally think that they should stick with Arne Slot for the rest of eternity. I really do feel that. And I feel like if they do that, Liverpool will go further and further. And as I said this morning, I really like the fact that Liverpool are doing this reverse psychology thing where they win one game in 7 games and give every single other team a sense of false hope. Ain't that brilliant? Absolutely. Big up, Dave. Absolutely. Sarcasm, by the way. Sarcasm. Very, very, very complex sarcasm, guys. I hope Klopp doesn't go back to Liverpool, Sal. Klopp won't go back to Liverpool, I don't think. I think Klopp is exhausted at the end of the day. I mean, can you imagine working at Liverpool all that time? It's an absolute killer. I mean, just thinking about it just make my brain freeze working in Liverpool for that long. I'm only joking. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, but yeah, look, I think he's done for a few years. I really do. If anything, I feel like Jurgen Klopp will be the German manager. I think he'll end up being Germany's manager. And that would be a very good move for Germany, in my opinion. Anderson is the guy. Absolutely. Of course, RJ Anderson is the guy. I've been saying Anderson's the guy for a very, very long time now. And obviously, I'm glad that people are starting to catch on in regards to Anderson. Now, obviously, there was the Blaber talk. There was the Wharton talk and stuff like that. And Wharton's fantastic. But Anderson is just on this next level now. And he's by game, he's just getting better and better. And the great thing about Anderson is that he's dominating games. He's commanding games. Even when he played against Manchester United, he was the reason that Nottingham Forest drew that game. They would have lost that game, but he was the reason that they drew that game. He was fantastic in that game. And this is what we're talking about. When Blaber played against Manchester United, he was poor. And this is the difference, isn't it? You get your move to Manchester United if you perform well. And that's as simple as that. Manchester United will not sign you if you down tool and if you can't play and if you're affected mentally. They won't do that. Because one of the biggest parts of Manchester United right now is the changing culture, the changing what we're doing at the moment, which is not signing players that are weak in the mentality. They're signing players like Cunha, like Mbeumo, these type of players like Sedi Lament, who have got their heads screwed on. You know, they've got their heads screwed on, and you know what? They don't let anything phase them outside influences. Do you know what I mean? Like when we think about Blaber, if Blaber came to Man United, played very well for a couple of seasons, then Real Madrid come calling. Is his head going to turn then? Is he going to down? Is he going to down tool for Man United as well? You know what I mean? This is what we have to say. Absolutely. Can't see Klopp going back to sinking ship. Nah, I don't think he's going to go back. You know what they say, though, isn't it, Ellen? No, you should never go back. You should never go back. Absolutely. Because you know what? You ruin your legacy sometimes. And I think going back would be a bit of a problem for Jurgen Klopp because he's not necessarily the players that he wants either, is it? You know what I mean? Anderson, best in class. Sal needs to happen. Yeah, look, honestly, one of the biggest signings for Man United need to make it their prerogative is getting Anderson in January. I mean, even well, it'd be great if we can get him in January, but what they need to do is just agree some kind of deal in principle to get Anderson. I mean, that would be brilliant. That would be brilliant. If we can get Anderson agreed in January and we can bring him in the summer, perfect. I don't mind as long as we get this player because someone else is going to get him. We should be working tooth and nail right now to get Anderson. At the moment, he's valued at around 65 million. Of course, that is going to go up. The more he performs, the more he gets better. That is going to go up. I want Man United to do a deal before the World Cup because I do believe, as other people do believe in this community, that when the World Cup does start, he's going to be absolutely phenomenal in that World Cup for England. I'm telling you right now, and these prices is going to shoot up through the roof. You know, this is why I look at certain players, right? And I look at them and I think, you know what? England have got Anderson. England have got Wharton. England have got Bellingham. England have got Rice. That midfield is probably the best quartet that I've just said in world football. I'm sorry, but in midfield wise, and Man United and England were weak in midfield just a couple of years ago. Now, when you look at their midfield now, and you're looking at it, and we're not even talking about Kobe Mainoo and people like that who are not even getting an opportunity at the moment. And you look at that and you think that, yeah, well, England have got a very, very good one. Dave, we really do need Anderson in our midfield, and composure and the way he bosses the midfield is good to see. Let's just hope when the time comes, he'll pick us like with Cunha and Mbeumo did. Look, at the end of the day, we have got the best in class in regards to the negotiation side of the thing, so hopefully that will work. It's wonder when we do come round to bidding for Anderson, of course. And Man United will bid for Anderson. Man United are one of the names in the hat. Man United, I do believe, are a little bit more advanced than other teams in regards to Anderson, because we have been aware, or as I've been speaking on Stretford Post for a while now, we have been aware of Anderson for a while. And, hopefully Man United have done some kind of verbal agreement or something there that we can take forth and we can complete the deal in the summer. Hopefully, I really do hope so. Because if we lose that on a player like Anderson, if he ends up going to Arsenal or he ends up going to Liverpool or Chelsea, then you know what, we might as well just throw the towel in, because at the end of the day, these are the sort of players that we need to be getting. Of course, it does help if Manchester United get into the Champions League. This is one of the most important things. Man United getting into Europe, Man United getting into the Champions League is one of the most important things, I would say, for Man United at the moment, so that we can attract certain players. Not only attract certain players, we'll get that money from the Champions League as well, which will make it a little bit more comfortable for us as well, guys. Absolutely. Ellen, when it comes to Anderson, we should pay what it gets. We should pay what it takes, and it'd probably take up to 80 million. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. But I do believe that we should pay it. Absolutely, Ellen, we should pay it. The best players we need to pay for. If Man United really want to progress. Look, the biggest thing, as I said just now, the biggest thing for Manchester United is qualify for Europe. We qualify for the Champions League. The ball's in our court. We're in the Champions League. We're Man United. We've got potential. We're going to have 100 million through the door. We're going to have a lot more money to spend and to play around with. And we're going to be a lot more attractive. Man United in Champions League is more attractive than any other club in England. Your Man Cities, your Chelseas, your Arsenals, your Liverpools. Man United in the Champions League are the most attractive proposition for any suitor out there. Let me tell you that right now. So if Man United manage to get in the Champions League, I do believe that we will get Anderson. If we don't get in the Champions League, it will make it a lot more difficult and probably a lot more expensive as well, if we're being honest, guys. Dave, let's really fight to get into that view. When we do, it will really increase our chances of getting a few quality profiles. Absolutely. Well, even now, Dave, when you're thinking about what we got in the summer, we obviously got in Bremer, we got Cunha, we got Sesko. We still attract certain players, even though we're not in Europe. Do you know what I mean? So can you imagine then if Man United are in Europe? If Man United in Europe, imagine the kind of quality that we can attract. Definitely Anderson will be wanting to come to Man United, and this is a key. So if I'm looking at this league table at the moment, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking I'm not very impressed. I'm not looking at any team right now. I think Leeds are beating Aston Villa at the moment. Look, I'm not looking at any team at the moment. I'm thinking, you know what? They're good. You know what? They're good. Not even the guy at the top, not even Arsenal. I'm not looking at Arsenal and thinking, wow, what a team. I'm thinking solid, defensively astute. That's all I'm thinking. I'm not thinking like I used to do with these certain teams, even the Arsenals of back in 98 and 2004 and teams like that. I don't look at teams these days and think, wow. I said it on my Twitter earlier on. From 1992, 93 until, let's say, about 2008, 2009, the current players in the Premier League right now, if not European football, not one player will get in our team from 1992, 93 to 2008, 2009. And that goes to show you how weak this league is, how it has regressed, so to speak, in my opinion. I don't know what you think about that very controversial opinion. It's not a rage bait either, of course. Absolutely. Sal, I think we need to be agreement with Anderson, then it will be easier. Otherwise, absolutely, Ephraim. That's what we need to do. We need to spend, if we can't get Anderson in January, what we Manchester United need to do, they need to try and work out a gentleman's agreement, a pre-agreement, a verbal agreement with the ball, with the team and with himself and his entourage, of course, guys, absolutely. But that's not to say Man United shouldn't be working on the João Gomes, on the Ruben Diaz, on the, for example, Wadi, for example, or Said El Mala, someone like that. Man United do need to be working at, even if it is a Conor Gallagher. We need to bring in some players. Of course we do. We need to bring in a couple of players to help Man United go forward. And with this AFCON that is coming up, I'm a little bit worried about it. Of course, you should be worried about it. If the AFCON is coming up, Man United are going to struggle because obviously we're not going to have a right-hand side. Hopefully, Man United can bring in someone, of course, like I've just mentioned, like even a Jofi Mokio, you know what I mean? But Said Al-Mala would be brilliant because he can play on both sides. He can play on the right wing, left wing, attacking midfielder, and so and Bawadi would be brilliant as well. We should be looking at these players in January because these players are achievable. They're, that we can get them. They're not going to absolutely break the bank. They'll be expensive, but they'll also represent the future as well, which we're looking at the moment, of course, guys. Absolutely, man. And you're also looking at players that are a little bit expensive, but are got a high ceiling, you know what I mean? So that we can sell them on in the future, maybe for 100, 150 million. But we're not looking to do that. I hope we're not looking to do that. But, you know, the valuation of those players goes up and it doesn't go down. Someone like Said El-Mala, someone like Bawadi, and these players are their valuation is going to increase tenfold. And I think Man United need to look at bringing in these players absolutely before anyone else does. Then we can buy, obviously, Anderson. Then we can buy Anderson, and then we can fit Anderson into that midfield. And we can work with Bruno. Bruno could be that number 10 sort of player. He could be in there sometimes and that. But Bruno shouldn't be guaranteed a position in this team. He is getting on a little bit. He needs to hold the bench sometimes, but it does depend what happens in the summer. I did say last week that I got two things in regards to Bruno Fernandes. I think Bruno Fernandes will either go to Saudi Arabia or he will stay at Man United for the rest of his career. I don't know. But it's just no in between with that. I just feel like he'll either go to Saudi Arabia or he'll stay at Man United for the rest of his career. We don't need GOMES at all. Big up, Aman. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope Emeru, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. 7878. I'll call you up. Big up yourself. All about opinions. I would take GOMES. Elliot Gomez played great against Liverpool. Absolutely. I mean, I told you he played great against us as well, Kevin, isn't it? You know, and when we saw him in the 2-2 draw against Man United, we thought, wow, you know, that's how you play. That's how you play when you play the team that want you. That's how you play against them. That is what you do. You don't just go missing in a game because Man United are going to look at it and think, do we really want that player? Do you know what I mean? So Anderson is the guy. Absolutely. Okafor, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. You have the same name as a famous AC Milan player. Used to play for AC Milan. Don't know if he plays for AC Milan still. Okafor. Big up. Hi, Sal. It's me, Chadosi. Big up, Chadosi. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Didn't know from the name. Big up yourself. Phone was stolen. I'm sorry to hear that. Just saying hi from Lagos, Nigeria. Big up Lagos, Nigeria. I'm sorry to hear about your phone being stolen. Really horrible thing to happen. Sorry, my friend. I hope you're well. And I hope your phone gets recovered. And I hope the people who done it get caught. Absolutely disgusting. Sorry about that, my friend. Prayers and thoughts are with you and your family, my guy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Even joining me today after that horrible thing that's happened is I really appreciate it, my friend. Absolutely. DJ, what's going on? DJ Android, what's going on, my friend? Big up, Sal, mate. Who do you think say football declined into? Do you say football declined about 2009? Yeah, I think about 2009 football declined. I'm not just saying that because Sir Alex Ferguson left in 2013 and stuff like. I actually believe football has declined, and it's pretty evident. Let me give you an example, right? If Harry Kane got injured right now, God forbid, right? Who's going to replace Harry Kane in that striker force for England? I mean, when I look back and when I go back into the early turn of this century and I go back to the 90s, England had Stan Collymore, Andy Cole, Robbie Fowler, Alan Shearer, Teddy Sheringham. You know, we could possibly go on and on. You know, we're not even mentioning Dion Dublin and players like that, and Chris Sutton and players like that. There were so many. Matt Letizia. You know, there were so many strikers out there and who you can pick, who can score goals, who can score goals. Nowadays, there's nobody. Kane gets injured. We're going to be doing the false number 9 thing. And I think this is where football's going. I actually think that the number 9 position is dying. I do think that. I think world football's going to end up being more like a false number 9 sort of thing. And it's going to be the 4-3-3 is going to be rife. The 4-2-3-1, whatever it is going to be rife. And there's not going to be the 4-4-2, the 4-5-1 anymore. That's going to be out the window completely. And the striker situation, the days of the striker is going to be dying. Why is this happening? Obviously, the generation of Messi and Pep Guardiola and that have changed the landscape of football. I don't think for the better. I don't think that Pep Guardiola has changed football for the better. I think he's a genius. I think he's fantastic. He's done what he's done in regards to his own ideas. But I just feel like it contributed to the infection that is, tiki-taka sort of football that is the 4-3-3, you know what I mean, and triangles on the pitch and stuff like that, you know what I mean. But yeah, I do think football has declined immensely, my friend. I don't see any more Wayne Rooneys. Do you? I don't really see anyone coming through the ranks anymore. I don't really see that anymore. I don't see someone coming like Andy Cole scoring 40 goals for Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? You know, I don't really see that anymore. I don't see Alan Shearer's and even Harry Kane's anymore. And this is concerning. We have to be concerned about this. Do you know what I mean? It is a problem going forward. Of course it is. You know, Ephraim. Sal, we need to take advantage when the team loses. Absolutely, my friend. I hope we do. I hope we do tomorrow, my friend. DJ, what modern players do you like? Me, I like Palmer, Musiala, also. I mean, there are a few. I like Kvaratskhelia, of course, guys. I like Musiala. I like Palmer. They're fantastic players. I really like these type of players. I like Mbeumo. I think he's a fantastic player. I'm looking at players that look, you look at Man United from the 90s and you look at Man United from the early turn of this century and you look at players that can possibly fit into this team. And I am looking at Mbeumo. I am looking at Musiala. I am looking at Elise and Kvaratskhelia. His name's so hard to pronounce. Palmer, for me, is one of my favorite players. I think he's an absolute world-class player on his day. He's an absolute world-class player. So there's a few players out there that I really like and I really admire. But when I'm thinking about the days when I was growing up, and I don't like to sound like an old fogey here, but at the end of the day, I just feel like I'm being honest here. I'm being objective, and I'm saying that football has declined immensely. If you don't think football has declined, then you're not really watching. Because at the end of the day, you don't really understand what was there. And we have to look at the levels here. We have to look at what the levels used to be, and we have to aspire to those levels. And at the moment, we're not doing that. And just like I said, name me 10 world-class strikers right now. Name me 10. Name me 10. I would name you 10 from the 90s, off the cuff, guys. I don't even need to think about it. Ronaldo, Del Piero, Taka, we can carry on going on, guys. So Alan Shearer, Andy Cole, we had Rivaldo's, we had Morientes, Raul, these players that you don't even if it was Sweden, if we had Darlene or we had Thomas Brolin, we had those sort of players, Roberto Baggio, we had those sort of players, we had Romario, we had those sort of players as well, guys. Dennis Bergkamp, guys, listen, Van Basten. No, I can keep going on, right? And tell you about strikers and that used to be. That where are those modern day strikers? Where are they now? Where are they now? Where would we find them? Absolutely. Big up DJ Android. Big up yourself. Hope you're well. Of course, tells you football has got shit. It has, mate. And we have to be honest with you. And how do we improve it? Look, at the end of the day, you can only say it if you've witnessed it. And I want football to be good. I want to enjoy football and I want the talent to come through, but it's just not happening at the moment. There's just not enough of it coming out through at the moment. We have to be realistic with ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Kenny, big up Kenny, the called relevant Man United about to go above Spurs. Absolutely. Look, the end of the day, Kenny, look, I find it hilarious when people say Manchester United are irrelevant. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, no one has the right, if they don't understand heritage and history of English football, have the right to say that Man United are irrelevant at the end of the day. I think it's very important, and it's very important, in my opinion, guys, and I'm going to say this as it is. If you support a football team from whatever country you support the football team, learn the history and heritage of the country and the football in that country. And for example, the Busby Babes and things like that, always do that because that is very, very important. It's a big part of English football. Is the Busby Babes. What happened obviously with the 1968 European Cup, obviously Man United becoming the first English team to win the European Cup, being the first team to believe in the European Cup as well. And I think people need to like take a seat back, and you need to study what it was at the end of the day, not just write it off and say, oh well, it's the past, we don't care about the past. Nobody cares about that, because at the end of the day, that just shows you that you don't have respect for the leagues that you're commentating in and you're talking about at the end of the day. And that's what it is. When I talk about Liverpool, when I talk about Arsenal, when I talk about 1978 Arsenal double winning side, when I talk about Liverpool not winning a treble in 1978, was it 1974 Arsenal? It was 1974, I think it was 1977. 1985 Everton team or Man United team, and you have to always respect that those who came before you in any walk of life, those who came before you. You have to respect the people that gave you that platform. They gave you that platform at the end of the day. The people who gave you that platform is the most important thing, because at the end of the day, if you just dismiss it because you weren't around at that time and you didn't have Sky and you didn't have that, people think that English people walked around with Sky Sports on their hand. We didn't. At the end of the day, it was very, very expensive to have Sky Sports, even back in the day. And even back in them days, all we used to do is watch Match of the Day. Right? So at the end of the day, which was on BBC One, 10:30 at night. So at the end of the day, look, what I would say is this, right? Man United will never be irrelevant. Man United are always there. Man United will be back. And I think this is one of the biggest problems with people when they analyze Man United. It comes from a place of fear. It comes from a place of reassurance. They want to reassure themselves that, Man United are not going to be back because they don't want Man United to be back. It's not because they think Man United won't be back. It's because they don't want Man United to be back. Now, I'm telling you right now, Man United will be back, guys. And you know what? We won't only be back. We'll be back to dominate again. And I will tell you that right now. Absolutely. 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 Husam deserves cooking. I've already cooked him enough, guys. Look, at the end of the day, let me just tell you something about Manchester United. If at the end of the day, look, I have respect for these guys and stuff like that. They don't like Man United. Fair enough. People don't like Man United. People hate Man United. That's absolutely fair enough. This is their prerogative. We caused a lot of people a lot of pain over the years. That's one thing about it. Man United have caused people pain. And unfortunately, that's just, I can't do nothing about that. I apologize for the pain that we caused all these people. But obviously, PTSD is coming into it. And obviously, they're feeling a lot of pain in regards to when they think about it. They probably get flashbacks at night. They probably wake up in a cold sweat. I don't know at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, look, we can't do nothing about that, and we have to just carry on doing what we're going to do, of course. Big up. Ellen, going to be boring draw between Arsenal and Spurs. No, I will take that, Ellen. To be honest with you, I'll take that. They both dropped some points. That'd be absolutely fantastic. I would love them both to do. Aston Villa have scored. Let me just get up the scores for you. Premier League scores. Let me just get up some of the scores. Scores. Let me just get some of these scores up. 1-1. Morgan Rogers. There you go. Talking about Morgan Rogers just now. There you go, guys. Very, very good player. Keeping Bellingham and that at the team at the moment. Thanks for the wishes, Sal. Had a heart, tomato soup and fever. Always, have your ginger, eat a lot of turmeric, have all that stuff. Of course, guys, and nice warm soup does well. Big up, Kenny. Hope you get better soon, my guy. It's that time of year, isn't it? Stephen, let's all laugh at Liverpool and City. Look, let's laugh at Liverpool, guys. Remember, we were the irrelevant ones, guys. We were the irrelevant ones. So at the end of the day, guys, I think it's cool. I should really play it, shouldn't I? I should really play this video because I like playing this video because it does hit home, to be honest with you, doesn't it, guys? When you're thinking about it, doesn't it? Let's play this again.
About Chelsea, fans struggle with this,
but I have never seen. By the way, in Chelsea,
Man United fans need to understand your club is irrelevant. Wallahi.
Our club is irrelevant.
No, let me be honest.
I'm going to tell you something. Sam is right.
1 second. I'll tell you.
That's fine. But that's fine.
I was you 15 years ago. Wait.
That's fine. We could be irrelevant. That's fine. We'll be back.
I was you.
You see, the most important telling quote here is that it's fine to be deemed irrelevant, guys. Maybe just see this, guys. It's fine to be deemed irrelevant, guys. That's absolutely fine for people to see that Man United are irrelevant. That's fine, guys. That's absolutely fine. But as I said, this is not coming from a place of logic. This is coming from a place of fear. This is coming from a place of, well, you know what? I don't want Man United to come back, so I'm going to say that they're gonna be irrelevant. You know what I mean? And they hope that we are relevant. But when you're looking at this, I struggle to believe that what is irrelevant here, because even in our worst times, even in our darkest days, we didn't have records like that, guys. We didn't have records like that at the end of the day. And listen, this is one of the worst Man United teams in history, apparently. This is the worst Man United team in history. People could talk about Man United, how Man United are the worst team in history and blah, blah, blah. That's cool. That's cool. But, at the end of the day, I'm looking at that and I can't seem to add it up. I'm not the best mathematician in the world. Of course I'm not, at the end of the day. But I mean, even the most brightest mathematician couldn't work that one out. Absolutely not. Absolutely not, guys. Let's get on. Kenny, Blue Sharks are on the halt. Big up, Blue Sharks. My goodness, fair. That was a Stonewall penalty on Foden. Yeah, look. At the end of the day, look, I'm very fair. I want to know where all the, there's this Arsenal love fest going on at the moment. There's content creators who just want to live up the backside. They're copying each other and just want to live up the backside of Arsenal fans and Arsenal. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, where was the outcry for the Man City penalty? It was a blatant penalty. It was even a red card, if I'm being honest with you. It was an awful challenge. So where's the outcry in regards to that? And where's all those Arsenal fanboys and fangirls who were talking about, Arsenal hosts are hard done by, Arsenal getting the media against them all the time? I haven't seen that tackle on the TV once. I've seen it on Twitter, and that's that. And that's all I've seen it. Unfortunately, Arsenal win, even wanted a draw. Yeah, I mean, I hope so. You never know what happens in the game, but I think Arsenal will win the game eventually. So what's wrong with Isaac? He looks so objective. I don't know, mate. I mean, karma, maybe, professionalism, I don't know. Absolutely. So he does have attitude. Attitude is one of the most important things in football. If you don't have an attitude at the end of the day, if you don't have the right attitude at the end of the day, you know what, you can fall and flat on your face. You have to have the right attitude. You have to have the right mentality. And this is exactly what Man United are looking for. Can you imagine Man United had someone like Isaac at Man United right now, with that attitude, not scoring goals? Imagine that was. Now, imagine this, guys. You won 6 games in 12. right? You've won 6 games in 12. You've lost 6 games in 12, should I say. You've lost 6 games in 12, right? And you've just lost 3-0 to Forest, right? You spent $500 million, right? You broke the transfer record twice in the same window, the British transfer window. You broke it twice in the same window. And here you are right now, 11th in the league, right? Imagine that was Ruben Amram. Imagine that was Ruben Amram, with that record right now. Imagine the outcry. Imagine TalkSport. Imagine TNT. Imagine Sky. Imagine that. This is exactly what we're talking about. It will be all over the airways, every single way you look. You wouldn't be able to get away from it because they'll be talking about Man United and Ruben Amram being sacked, wouldn't they? Absolutely. Ellen, Isaac's not worth talking about. He is doing 0 and nothing, maybe less than 0. Absolutely. I mean, for the price. Sal, the amount of excuses for Liverpool is getting madness. I mean, obviously, Liverpool, look, I'm not going to come out here and say that football is about absolutes. I can come out here and give Liverpool all the excuses under the sun if they want them. But I look at things from the factual point of view. Liverpool fans don't look at us and they don't look at our context. They don't look at us and think, well, they had that problem, they had that problem. They just look at the results and they just look at what's before them, the eyes. So I'm not going to look at anything. I'm just going to look at the results. I'm not looking at what's happened off the pitch. But I don't care anymore because at the end of the day, these people, these fans, they don't care about Manchester United. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and I sympathise with them with the problems that they're happening at the end. But football doesn't care about that. Football happens on the pitch, guys. There's no excuses for what happens on the pitch. A lot of those players were not playing there last season. You know what I mean? So the players like Wirtz, Florian Wirtz, the players like Kirkes, the players like Isaac, they were not there last season. You know what I mean? They were not there last season, so they were not there to get to know certain things about this team and stuff like that. And obviously my heart goes out to what happened to them. But at the end of the day, Man United have been tragedy as well. You know what I mean? And this is part of it. Like if we talk about tragedy, if we want to talk about tragedy, everything is the past. Let's talk about tragedy. Let's talk about 1958. Let's talk about when we lost the best team in Europe, right? Let's talk about the best team in Europe. Let's talk about the best player in the world at the time, Duncan Edwards, who passed away in the plane crash, right? Let's talk about that. And then if people want to dismiss this, but if this thing didn't happen, Man United would have 10 Champions League, 10 European Cups right now. We were that good, right? England would probably have a few more World Cups as well. This team was that good, right? And this is the thing about it. Look, they look at things only from a pure of a selfish, biased point of view, what's going on at the moment. But like I said, I don't want to hear it. No one wants to hear about our stories and stuff like that. And, I certainly can't listen to theirs either. Of course. Slot in, yes, absolutely, all day long. Luke Chapman, what's going on? My Northampton Town lose yesterday. Big up Northampton Town. I don't know why Northampton Town are the subject of the day, but big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. And I wish you the best, of course. DJ Android, we've been riding on Klopp for years now. We've been riding on Klopp. Big up DJ Android, my friend. Big up, my friend. Harry Redknapp protecting his beloved Liverpool on Sky Sports News. Harry Redknapp supports Arsenal, RJ. He grew up being an Arsenal fan. He used to go to Arsenal games with his dad, apparently. Way back when, of course, before all of us were around. It was a very, very long time ago. But Harry Redknapp was an Arsenal fan when he was growing up. Absolutely. But protecting Liverpool is part of the game. Look, at the end of the day, people just... The funniest thing I've heard, probably in months, is that Man United are not spoken about in the media. And I just thought, oh, my goodness. They actually make a segment about Man United on TalkSport every single morning. To talk about Man United. And a majority of the talk about Man United is not positive. It's over-exaggerated, and it is very sensationalized as well. You know what I mean, guys? Ellen, can someone confirm that Cunha is injured? Cunha had a headache. That's basically what it is. Cunha did not want to go and turn on those Christmas lights. That is why he didn't do it. Yes, that's why he apparently was injured yesterday. Don't think too much into it. It's fine. He'll play tomorrow. He'll play tomorrow. Absolutely. That's sweet in my. That is sweetness in my eyes. Absolutely. Danny, if they want 100 for Anderson, pay it. Get it done before the World Cup. Arsenal, Chelsea, don't hesitate to pay. I mean, this is exactly what I said. Danny, you have to pay for these players, and Man United could have bought Declan Rice a long time ago. They could have had Declan Rice if Man United paid the money for him, but we refused to pay for the money from him. As it is, he's actually done well for Arsenal, hasn't he? Man United do need to break the bank for Anderson. They do. They need to get him. Look, if Man United are going to spend 250 million, on average, Man United spend about 250 million in the summer or January and stuff. Overall, they spend about 250 million. So why not get Anderson? Why not get a Boadi, or a Said Omala or even Adam Wharton. Get Adam Wharton and Anderson. Get those two players to play in the midfield. What about that? That will cost about 200 million. That's it. That's all we need. And then you can spend a little bit on the wing back and things, isn't it? Absolutely. Jadisa, what's your prediction for the Spurs versus Arsenal? 2-2. 2-2. I'm going to go for 2-2. Ellen, 100 million, and I put 6-pack on top. He is gold, and he is English. Gold on gold. Big up, my friend. Big up. I told you guys. Do you guys think I've been sitting here doing these thumbnails with Anderson on the thumbnails because I'm an absolute clown, because I'm an idiot? Do you think I've been doing that for no reason, guys? I told you guys I will be carrying. I told you about Anderson. No one was talking about Anderson. I told you guys again, another Stretford Post thing, right, guys? Just like I said about Senny Lamens. And the thing is, look, listen, when I see a good player, Anderson is that guy. Anderson is the one that is going to take Man United forward, because Anderson is more than just a CDM. He is a combination of many things. 50 likes. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Ephraim. Big up yourself. 50 likes, everyone. Thank you. We got to the mark. Good to see. I'm at Watkins now. I think it was the right decision not to take him. It was the right decision. Absolutely. So Watkins has been resale value as well. I mean, yeah. And Watkins is he's not been the same, has he, for the last few years at the end of the day. Ellen, have a feeling it will grow up and new strikers in Norway in a couple of years. Haaland, the kids here adore him. I mean, at the end of the day, Nusa, Haaland, and that. Haaland came from Leeds at the end of the day. But what I would say is that Nusa and that, they're not going to be that. They're good, but they're not going to be good like they were good. There's no strikers. Haaland's probably the last one. And Haaland, even if Haaland was in the 90s, he'll be a good striker. That's about it. He'll be one of many. He would be. He's a good striker now because he's the only one. You know, I would say that he's not even as good as Alan Shearer. He's not as good as Ruud van Nistelrooy. He's not as good as Andy Cole. You know, Andy Cole didn't even take penalties. Had more. He's got. If you take away Haaland's penalties, Andy Cole's better goal scorer than him. You know, and that's what we're talking about. And Andy Cole couldn't even get the England team. And Nusa and that, yeah, they're good players, but you know, they're not what the level was. And that's the same in England. That's the same in Europe in general. You know. Haaland wasn't good yesterday. I guess he's not a robot after all, so he's just not didn't get a penalty, did he? At the end of the day, big up everyone, big up everyone, of course. George Weah was a great player, yes, absolutely, another one there. I mean, absolutely. He went off the boil a bit when he went to Chelsea. I thought if teams start close down, Doku City can be stopped. Sal Slot said the weather affected us. He looked like Ten Hag when he was talking. I mean, look, oh my goodness me. What are they going to blame next? For goodness sake, me. My goodness. Absolutely ridiculous. Lawrence, I still worry about where the goals are coming from, but I'm not too worried about the David Moyes will set up. We should place that great emphasis on defence and Palace away. I still about where the goals are. Look, at the end of the day, I'm looking at every single team in the Premier League, and I'm not seeing lots of goals. I'm not seeing lots of goals these days. I think the Premier League is void of goals. I think there's a few. There's never nowhere near as much as it used to be. I just think this is what it is. I think Man United are going to be all right. Man United are 5 unbeaten, Lawrence. Man United are doing absolutely fantastic right now. Man United could possibly be 10 games unbeaten. We draw against Crystal Palace. That's all right. If we win the other games, that's fine. At the end of the day, as long as we don't lose. I think we're in a good place. It's nothing to be worried about, even defensively. I don't think we'll have any problems. The great thing about Ruben Amorim is building at the moment, he's building a structure and he's building a culture at this football club, which I like and which I've been promoting for the last few months. And I think that Man United will be fine. I think you're going to see a new Man United. You're already seeing it again, like, for example, the match against Brighton, the match against Liverpool when we didn't beat Liverpool since 2016 away and we beat them, and beat them pretty comfortably. Kevin, Sal, would you take Morgan Rogers? Well, yes, I would. But at the end of the day, I think we've got too many attackers, number 10s. I think I'm happy with Cunha and Mbeumo. I heard that Arsenal 98 say was brilliant. I watched Arsenal and go, Arsenal 98 was the best Arsenal team that I witnessed in my life. I remember, I am old enough to remember Arsenal from back in the George Graham days when they had a very, very good defence and they were known as the most boring team in England. Funny enough, they're known as the most boring team in England now. But yeah, look, back then they were the most boring team in England. But in 98, they had Nicolas Anelka, they had Dennis Bergkamp, of course, in the team. They had a great team. They had obviously Emmanuel Petit and Patrick Vieira in that team. They had Ray Parlour on one side, of course. They obviously had Paul Merson and they had, and the great thing about Arsenal back then, obviously, they had Keown, they had Dixon, they had Winterburn, and they had Seaman in goal. So they had the nucleus of the team there, which was from the George Graham time. And then they added obviously Mark Overmars, Nikas Anelka, Dennis Bergkamp, and that, and they sort of fixed that team into like a great football team. And I think this is the best Arsenal team of the Premier League was that team. I don't think it's the invincible team. I actually think it was the 98 team. I think that team was better. I do. Lawrence Casemiro from a set piece, Bruno penalty, and we're going to win, guys. Don't worry about that. Let's think about it. Slot is complaining about a lot of weird stuff, opponent, team, or defender. The thing is, Ellen, one thing about managers will always criticize when you found them out, bit like Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola is your best friend. Pep Guardiola will praise you until the cows come home if you lose to him. If you beat him, you're his worst enemy. And that's just like Arne Slot. Arne Slot wants teams to play into his hands. He's complaining that teams are playing a long ball. Why are they playing a long ball? Because it works. Even if it worked, if Sir Alex Ferguson was in charge, if the long ball worked against Liverpool, he'll play it. At the end of the day, this is what we're talking about. Just excuses. Still 1-1. I heard big up 1-1 between Leeds. I mean, I don't mind that result, of course. Absolutely. Yeah, I've cooked him. 2-1 Villa. Damn. I did say 3-2. It's going to be 75 minutes. 2-1 Villa. Oh well. Villa won that one. Leeds are going down anyway. You tell them, Sal. Absolutely, man. You don't look. At the end of the day, look. I've been there. I've seen it. I won the T-shirt and stuff like that. People think I can come on the stream. They can go 3 against 1. And then they cry and they play selective outrage when I say something that hurts their feelings. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if I mention some of the things they've said, you'd be like, what? You know what I mean? They would have the whole Man United fan base on them right now, but I won't do that, of course, because at the end, I am actually respected at my football club, unlike some. At the end of the day, and probably more respected at Liverpool as well. At the end of the day, guys. Lawrence. In contrast, it is relevant to continue to talk about poor footballer killed in a car crash. I thought it was too much last summer, but now, they spoke about that, Lawrence. They spoke about it, and look, God rest his soul. Poor. My feelings and my thoughts and the prayers are with his family. Man United, above anyone, we know about tragedy. We know about what in regards to that, and at the end of the day, I will never be one to talk about. Play around with things like that, these horrible things that happen. But, using it as an excuse is a little bit disingenuous, I would say. And because a lot of those players that played did not play with him. And what I would say also is that what I believe is just that the football's not doing well. The football's not working this season. And this is just it. You can talk about a number of things about it. You could talk about, obviously, Trent Alexander leaving, Ruiz leaving, and things like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's just life, isn't it? Life comes at you fast sometimes, And sadly, it's happened, but we can't do nothing about that. Sadly, you just have to get on with it, brush it. Such is life, Villa scored. Big up. Villa are going to win that one. I think absolutely. Villa are going to win that one. Dipper Paul, big up, my friend. Yes, Leeds 2-2. Goodness me, is it 2-2? Is it 2-2? It's not 2-2 on my screen yet. Is it 2-2? Absolutely. Madness. What a game. I said 3-2 Leeds. I said 3-2 Leeds. I said 3-2 Villa. I said 3-2 Villa. Am I going to get that right? Is that going to be right? 3-2 Villa. I mean, there you go, guys. There you go. I probably will. Arne Slot needs time to go. Look, I want him to stay. Roy. I really do. I want him to stay there because I'm enjoying it at the moment. I really am. Come on, Leeds. Big up. I'm not going to celebrate Leeds. I don't like Leeds, dirty Leeds, but best of luck to them. I'm not going to celebrate Leeds. Goodness me. Liverpool fans literally were calling Slot best manager and no excuses. Guys, listen, they said Man United are irrelevant. I mean, I don't understand how someone who's below Man United can call Man United irrelevant. Yeah, if you're above Man United, you can possibly say that, but Man United would never, ever be irrelevant. Never in a million Sundays. Big up, Nicky. Goal disallowed. That's a shame. I knew it because it weren't coming up on my screen. So yeah, goal disallowed. Absolutely. I'm really worried about AFCON. Don't worry about it, Nicky, too much. We'll be all right. Hopefully we can get some players in there. Such an important game tomorrow. It is. Man United, this is what we're talking about. Man United need to think about themselves, what we have to do. Do you know what I mean? So I have good feeling about Kobe in this AFCON period. Absolutely. Big up, Nicky. Ian Wright. Big up Ian Wright. Absolutely. Big up Ian Wright, of course. Passionate guy. Big up, Sal. Good evening. A bit late, but a great week to you and everyone. Big up, Garrett. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Nothing but a win tomorrow night. Glory, glory, Man United. Absolutely. That's what it's all about, my friend. That is what it's all about, of course. Guys, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, big up, big up. Goodness me. Slut out. Big up. Let him cry. Sal, why is... guys, what you should do, guys. What you guys should do, and this is what you should do for this community. You need to go to Hussam's stream. This is what you do for Stretford Post, right? Go to Hussam's stream and say, Stretford Post send me here to give you grief. That's what you do. Absolutely. Leeds are basically the secondary rivals. Yeah, they are. I mean, Leeds hate us more than we hate them, but we don't like Leeds, of course. That's historically. But go on his channel, after I finished here, go on his channel and give it to him. He deserves it, guys. He deserves it. Guys, these guys, they said, right? They said that supporting Manchester United is a form of child abuse. This is what they said to me, okay? They said this. So now that they're losing, go on their channel and give it to them. Absolutely, because at the end of the day, they deserve it. And I'm talking about, obviously, I'm talking about Judge Mo, and I'm talking about him as well. They said that supporting Man United is a form of child abuse. This is exactly what they said. And this is what I'm talking about, selective rage. Selective, how would you say, outrage? Selective outrage, right? I could have been outraged, but I've much more thick skin. I've got much more of a better personality. I'll laugh about these things and I brush it off. That's what I do, okay? But them, you say one thing, oh my God, you can't say things like that. But you know what? What you do is you go on their channel and you give it to them. That's what you do. Nicky, Man, you bought some good players off Leeds when in depth. But Rio Ferdinand from them, if we all remember. Of course, Rio Ferdinand was a fantastic signing for Manchester United, one of the greatest defenders in history, as we know. We did buy him off there. They basically were rage baiting. Look, at the end of the day, yeah, look, I love it because at the end of the day, I feel like I won a debate against three people, Kenny. I don't know how you feel about that. I won a debate against three people. I had a dog barking, which was on the Arsenal fan, and then a couple other ones mouthing off, shouting, not giving me a word in edgeways. And I do actually feel that I gave my own, and I did very, very well. If they want entertainment, if they want real football opinion, if they want proper debates, I'm the guy. I'm not one of those guys with 200 subscribers who talks absolute crap on their channel. You know what I mean? I've actually been around, do you know what I mean, at the end of the day, and for, a lot of games under my belt as well. He is too arrogant, as he's laughing at, who is laughing at. Exactly. You should go to his channel and say, you're laughing. A Stretford Post sent me here. Rio was laughing at Liverpool on his YouTube show. So he should laugh at Liverpool. Everyone should laugh at Liverpool. They think it's okay to say what they want about the Busby Babes, about some Busby, about Man United fans, about hatred for Man United, this. But when the tables are turned, guys, when we give them a little bit back, they cry like little babies. Always the victim. That is them. That is them to a T. Right. Always the victim, guys. That is what they are. And they're always pro the victim card. And they always try to be the self-righteous card. You can't, at the end of the day, right? But that's it, guys. I mean, as I said, they'll never debate me one-on-one. One-on-one, I would win, and I already have one with 3 against them. But one-on-one is the victory, guys. Absolutely, that's what it is at the end of the day. I make him all fidgety like his microphone. But there you go, guys. But I want to thank everyone, Rio. I want to thank everyone, guys, for joining me today. I really appreciate everyone in the stream. I do. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't forget to smash a like on the video as well, guys. The channel will keep growing. Let's not forget this channel's only been on live content for a year. Just over a year. It's been on live content. Just 1 year. And we've moved leaps and bounds, guys, and we've done a lot of things. We've had great people on the show. We've had great journalists on the show. We've had footballers on the show and stuff like that. And it's going to keep improving, and we're going to keep moving forward, guys. And that's what it's all about. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I will be back for Breaking Dawn tomorrow. Don't forget to join me. It will be a big one, as usual, guys. Enjoy the game today. Come on, Tottenham. Let's do this. Let's get a win against. Let's Tottenham change the narrative a little bit. Unfortunately, not Kenny. I won't be doing any watch-alongs tonight. I'm done with the watch-alongs. To be honest with you, only Man United for me at the moment. Big up, Kenny. Only Man United for me at the moment. But yeah, I will be doing more watch-alongs in the future when I got my studio set up and that, and when I'm in a much more confined space, if you know what I mean, guys. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow for Breaking Dawn. Enjoy the game. 2-2. Remember that score. That's what I said. Have a good one. I'm Sal Warner. This is Chatterbox. See you soon, guys. Peace.